Welcome along, thanks for joining us. This is the final Premier League tonight of the season, and we have been custard-pied by Leon Britton. As you can see, joining us in the studio for the beginning of the programme is Glenn Hoddle. To be honest, you were and are a brilliant footballer and brilliant man. So we're delighted that you're with us. Apparently, though, Leon's going to join us after part one. So does that mean you get home?
I'm being subbed, I think. Yeah, I'm being subbed.
Didn't happen often in his career, did it? Didn't happen often in his career. Right, loads to talk about though, and we're going to start by talking about the top of the table, and we've got the perfect men to do it because on Friday night it really was a hammer blow. Lanzini's goal, of course, all but ending Tottenham's hopes of the title this season. But how much have they improved? How brilliant have they been? And how good can they become? We'll talk about that. As we now know, it is advantage Swans, defeat for Hull, delight for Fernando Llorente and his teammates, which puts Swansea in pole position now to survive the drop. And of course, earlier on today, City Slickers, Manchester City with a brilliant 5-0 win over Crystal Palace. And you heard earlier from Ian Wright on our Premier League programme, he fears for his old club, Crystal Palace. Right, we're going to start by talking about the title race. And really, if Spurs hadn't given us a modicum of a title race against Chelsea this season, nobody would have done. And of course, our Premier League fans have been there every single step of the way with the highs and the lows.
Absolutely delighted with the first two games for Antonio Conte. This team now has a fight and a spirit and a passion.
I've supported Spurs 25 years and this is the best time so far.
I had to get out there. It was 50 Shades of Grey levels of masochism.
It seems like we've dropped in intensity a little bit. We're crying out for Harry Kane to come back.
I'm so happy with Antonio Conte. This 3-4-3 really does look good. Just coming out of the Etihad now and I am on cloud 9. 3 1-0 victories in 6 days now. That takes us 9 points clear at the top of the league.
Fantastic result for Spurs. Spurs game marching on.
I can safely say it now. We're going to be champions. We've done it. I cannot believe I'm saying that to you before anyone's even bought one Valentine's Day rose. Nobody has the minerals to catch us.
Really important 3 points for Spurs today.
I'm over the moon, and yeah, Premier League title's coming back to Stamford Bridge.
The title's definitely over, so the FA Cup's the best chance for Spurs.
We've lost 2-1 to Palace, which is very disappointing, of course, and totally unexpected.
Is the title race back on? Not quite yet.
Tottenham are looking very good at the moment. They had another really good win today, and I'm slightly concerned about them.
Spurs just couldn't be stopped. Really feels like the title race could really be back on.
Beating Tottenham Hotspur at Wembley, there is no feeling like it. I cannot see Tottenham galvanising and regrouping and being a threat to us for this league. Thank you so much to West Ham United Football Club.
Terrible result and terrible performance tonight. It's the worst I've seen us play in a long time. The title's now over.
I think it's a formality now. We have to win 2 games. 6 points we need, and I can't see it being a problem. And we're going to lift the Premier League trophy aloft at the Hawthorns in a couple of weeks' time. Yes!
It's looking like it now, isn't it? Thanks to them for all of their comments so far this season and everybody else who's been part of the show, of course. But this is probably the most salient tweet that we've seen about this. This is from James Robson, who's a journalist. Both Guardiola and Mourinho insisted this season wasn't going to be about their rivalry. They were right. It's been all about Conte. How impressed have you been by this man's arrival in the Premier League, guys?
Very impressed. I think it all changed for him at Arsenal when he changed his system from the 4, went to the 3. They've obviously been working on it. And then he changed it at the right time for them, and they've not looked back since. They've been fantastic, individually and in the system.
Yeah, I've been really impressed as well. I think he's got the best out of Costa again, although there's been 1 or 2 issues this year with Costa. Hazard is back to his best. The system was rightly said, the 3 centre-halves with Victor Moses and
Alonso
on the left. Matic and Kante, they've got top players. You know, the inclusion of Kante, the signing has been proved to be magnificent. So, yeah, if they won and win the title, which I think they will, Glenn, they've thoroughly deserved it. They've been the best team.
Yeah, I think when he arrived, he came. His Italian national team was a back 3. In the event of back 3, he wanted to implement the back 3. But I think he thought, well, hang on a minute, I'm just going to... The players have not played this ever before. We'll start with the back 4 and we'll go... It just wasn't working. Hazard was having to track all the way back, almost play like a left back. If you remember that Arsenal game, he let a couple of players go and they've scored off it. And in the end, he's gone, right, OK, I'm going what I wanted to do at the very outset, was to go with the back 3. And that has helped Luiz. Luiz's problem was his Achilles heel was defending. He's been brilliant this year because he's had two centre-backs either side of him. He doesn't get stretched, he doesn't have to go out into the corners. And plus, he can pick a pass. From that position, he can actually be a playmaker in many ways, and he's the right player to play in there football-wise. So, you know, all in all, he's done a fantastic job, and he's got the best out of that squad with that system now.
Chelsea fans, get involved in the conversation. Use the hashtag PL tonight. Gary says, honestly, never thought I'd see another Chelsea manager like Jose. I'm talking passion and relationship with fans, but I was wrong. We have Conte. Chris, how lucky are we to have Conte? His passion is infectious, demands 100% from his players. He always gives 100% too. An incredible season. Sono says, this man was a great captain of the great Juventus side. He's a manager with a captain's heart and a natural leader. And Arjun, Conte is a football genius. And I mean Sir Alex material. Clinical, effective and so efficient. Wow. Sir Alex did it for a very long time. The key...
No, those are all Chelsea tweets. Yeah? They could have done the same thing with Mourinho a few years back.
Well, that's the point, is that they're comparing him to Mourinho.
Yeah. What do they think of Mourinho now?
Well, that's football, isn't it? But I suppose the key is, can he keep doing it?
But he's going to have to, otherwise they're going to treat him like Mourinho.
Arsene Wenger.
Exactly. No, you look at him and he looks like somebody that he demands excellence, and his players look like they're up for playing for him to try and deliver it. He looks like a manager that is very inspirational.
So if they're going to win the Premier League. I mean, I don't think anyone would bet against them doing that. And you can see there, only Mourinho's had a better first season in English football. So now it becomes about what's next. What do you want to see Chelsea do next? Is it more important to defend the title, to get down to the quarters or the semis or the final of the Champions League? What is it now? What's the benchmark for next season?
Well, he has to be consistent. I think he has to add. I think they possibly might lose Diego Costa, who's a huge player for them when he plays.
Hazard.
And people go on about Pochettino and Spurs. They're an outstanding team, but I'd like to see them, winning something. First of all, I think they've been disappointing Spurs this season in the Champions League, in the Europa League, and for Spurs, if there's potential there in terms of winning leagues, Chelsea are going to strengthen, Manchester United are going to strengthen, City are going to strengthen certainly. So where did Tottenham come in next season? They move from their stadium, they move into Wembley, where they've had a nightmare in the Champions League. So from Conte's point of view, he has to keep strengthening, adding that quality to the quality that he already has.
And they've got to do that because next year this season they've had no European football, so they could plan. They've had a fresh week. Many weeks they're going in fresh. They haven't had too many injuries, but next year they've got the Champions League. They're going to want it, and he'll demand that he wants to win the Champions League with Chelsea. If he does the Premier League this year, he might do the double. If they win the FA Cup as well, what a way to start. But then he'll say, right, this is what we... So the priority becomes the Champions League. So you've got to go really deep. They've got a very good squad as it is, but if they add to it now... And
they've got to keep hold of Hazard. Yeah. When Real Madrid starts sniffing around your players, you've got a problem because they don't seem to stop until they actually get the player. So I'm not sure who they're going to bring in to try and make sure that they can address that balance, because I'm sure that Hazard wants to go to that level, whether or not it's going to be next season or season after. But if Madrid come calling...
But as a player, don't you see enough in that first season under Conte to think, do you know what, even as Eden Hazard or maybe as Costa, you think, I will give you one more season. Let's see how we go as defending champions and in the Champions League, no?
What do you mean? Of course. I think that you just let him get on with doing what he's doing.
As a player, if you're a player, Eden Hazard, does he now not want to go because of what they've done?
Yeah, but then it comes down to Eden Hazard and his ambitions. We're talking about Real Madrid.
And his agents.
And his agent. Yeah, exactly right. You're talking about Real Madrid. And you look at what Real Madrid are doing. They are unbelievable right now. And he's got the chance to maybe go and play with one of the greatest ever in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo. I probably would, yeah. I probably would, simply because, I want to win the Champions League. And yes, there's a good chance that if he stays at Chelsea for the next few years, he'll have a good chance of doing it. But you have to say, at Real Madrid, he'll have a better chance if they want him, if they really do want him as much as they're saying.
I think as well, if you lose Hazard, you lose almost 30% of your team. Irreplaceable, Eden Hazard. So it's vital that they try and keep hold of him. I think money talks. I think, does it really talk with Chelsea? They've got so much money anyway, the unbelievable rich owner, Abramovich. But it's replacing these great players and continuing challenging for titles.
I think if his head's turned and he wants to go to a Real Madrid, there's some good players there that you could do a deal with. There's some real talent there that you could actually say, right, we want that lump of money, but we also want him and him.
Like Isco the other day was brilliant.
You actually sort of almost swing it round, and you're the one that's demanding. All right, the boy doesn't want to stay with us, he wants to go, but you actually turn it round and go on the front foot and demand who you want for the deal to go through. If they're that desperate for him, they'll do it.
Well, if you're saying that you think Chelsea still have to add some depth to the brilliant quality they've already got, a brief chat on where this leaves Tottenham as well. I thought this was a fantastic tweet, actually, from Nick Harris, who runs Sporting Intel. Well worth a follow on Twitter if you want to. Spurs so close to being a title-winning team, but need to double their wage bill to match Chelsea's. That equals a massive risk, of course. Don't risk, though, and the squad dissipates. They, as brilliant as this season has been for Tottenham, they are now at a really critical crossroads of either pushing on and going for it, or not, and risking this team breaking apart.
Absolutely, Joe. I ran on record last week saying exactly that.
Yeah.
Everything is there for that club. The only slight thing is maybe the timing of having to go to Wembley and White Hart Lane. If they could have had one more year. But that's it. That's been planned. It's done. So everything is right. They've got the stadium, the best stadium. They'll have the best training ground. They've got a good squad, very good squad. Needs to go deeper. Got a great manager. They've got a fan base, 90,000 people going to Wembley. Not many clubs can do that. So everything is there. They now have got to become a big buying club and wages. Keep the players happy. And who knows where they can go.
Because they've got a cap of £100,000 a week, allegedly. Can you win the Premier League and keep modern-day players happy with that?
No.
Not when you're looking... they played Arsenal the other week, and there's Arsenal players on the bench who are on more than someone like Harry Kane. So when you... And now we're starting to hear, like, Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker, there's talk that he might be leaving. Toby Alderweireld, his contract talks have stalled. What's happening is that now they're starting to realise, Tottenham, that they're going to have to pay these players if they want them to compete at that level with the players that they're competing against, because they're earning it.
Well, they might be realising it, Ian, but are they going to go ahead and go over that line and to do it? They're a football club. It's not a business. It's a football club that needs to get trophies. And Spurs' future history could be the best it's ever been if they're prepared to go and say, look at the extra revenue they're going to get from Wembley alone.
Yeah.
You know, put it all back into the squad, put it in wages. And you know, and the 61,000 when they do go into the new stadium, that extra revenue's coming in. Everything is right. The owners have got to go, yes, this is the moment. Over the next 10 years, Tottenham can become a Chelsea, what Chelsea have done.
OK, and some great comments coming in. Thank you for them. Hashtag Peel Tonight to join in the conversation. Adam Crafton says, if Spurs won, that would have been 10 in a row. Fergie did that only twice in the Premier League. Spurs didn't crack. They just had too much to do.
Yes.
Gary, credit to Pochettino in a league with Conte, Pep, Mourinho, Wenger and Klopp. He was probably the least fancied to create a stir. Kudos. And Oliver Holt, Spurs have absolutely nothing to berate themselves for this season. Credit to themselves and their club, a team on the rise. Well, that was short and sweet for you. You're going to get home and get a round of golfing before it gets dark, I think. Thanks
Not
for
the way
joining
I'm playing.
Thanks very much for joining us. Right, get in touch with us. We want your 3-word season reviews. How would you sum up your season in just 3 words this year? And in the final part, we're going to be asking, where will your club be in 12 months' time? That's what we're going to talk about in the final part. But there you go. He's finished his day's work. He got a brilliant round of applause as he was subbed. Leon Britton is on his way to join us.
This programme is sponsored by Bet365.